Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So this is going to be my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode 4 Ghost Rider versus Hellfire video. Just careful for spoilers if you haven't seen the episode yet. So this is a great comic book episode. I feel like last week I ended up not doing a video just because they really didn't do a lot of comic book stuff. So it was more of like a character-based episode. This is an episode where they teased the Darkhold, they teased Mephisto again, and they did Hellfire versus Ghost Rider, the most comic book thing you could think of early in the season. This is like something born out of the pure joy of a little kid's mind. Oh my god, we have two fire-based characters. What would it be like if they faced off? They both have a chain as their main weapon in the comics, even though the Robbie Reyes version of Ghost Rider is a little bit different. So this is going to be a little bit different. I'm just going to go through the episode. There's like so much stuff happening today, especially with the Guardians of the Galaxy trailer dropping. So just going through the Easter eggs, like big comic book WTF moments. We have the resolution of the Inhuman plot, or almost the resolution. They find out how it is they're getting all the names of the Inhumans, and it's because the Hellfire character has turned on his own kind, like he views it all with contempt, like he just absolutely hates himself, hates everything that happened last season, and just feels like getting rid of all the Inhumans will make those problems go away. So hilarious that he's working in a fireworks store, but I always liked the actor's performance. He always added like a little something fun to episodes. I don't know how he's going to fit into this season because it seems like they're transitioning away from the Inhumans on the TV show just so they can double down on all this mystical Doctor Strange, Darkhold, Mephisto, Ghost Rider stuff, which I feel like is a smart move for the show because there's not going to be an Inhumans movie for a long time. They'll still do one, but it's like a long ways off. It just makes sense that they wouldn't focus on Inhumans until that becomes a thing. Usually the TV show, this like connected Marvel universe between the TV shows and the movies, benefits from movies that are coming out. So they focus on Captain America stuff when Captain America movies are coming out. They're focusing on mystical magic stuff because Doctor Strange is coming up. So even though at Comic-Con they said that they would have access to some of the classic Inhuman characters, now that's talking about like core Inhuman characters, maybe Royal Family, that might not be till the second half of the season and something for next year. Because we have Ghost Rider this season. He's been great so far. I love what they've done with the character. They made some changes to his comic book backstory that I'll explain in a second, but I am kind of worried that they're going to go through this Ghost Rider plot this season and he just won't be a part of season 5. Like, that's my fear. I really want them to keep Ghost Rider around as long as possible. He's completely turned the show around for me. That's why it feels less exciting when he's not on screen. Important stuff though, the Darkhold. Everybody got really excited when they mentioned, I think they name dropped it in either last week or episode 2, but now they're like fully doing it. They show us a picture of it in the episode. They even say Hydra tried to find it, Nick Fury tried to find it. I liked all the name drops, like just all these big people in the Marvel universe that have been searching for it but have been unable to find it. And normally you would think that Doctor Strange would have it inside the Sanctum Sanctorum, but remember, in the MCU right now, Stephen Strange has not become Sorcerer Supreme. So once he does, he would be the person to show up, take the book, and put it inside the Sanctum for safekeeping. Because the Sanctum also kind of works like Odin's Vault. It's a repository for really dangerous magical artifacts that Doctor Strange doesn't want falling into the wrong hands. So the way they explain it in the episode is actually pretty clear. The Darkhold is basically a grimoire. It's one of the most powerful books of magic in the Marvel Universe, and surprise, surprise, it was mostly featured in Doctor Strange comics, and there was even a run of Ghost Rider comics, so this is where they're bringing it around to the Ghost Rider. There was a run of Ghost Rider comics called Darkhold, Pages from the Book of Sins. It was a run that started in 1992 spinning out of Rise of the Midnight Suns, which was a Ghost Rider storyline. So if you really like Ghost Rider and you really like that early 90s art style and you want to read the story, you can go search for that. The name of the storyline is called Darkhold, Pages from the Book of Sins. It was basically like a 16-issue run, so there'll probably be some Easter eggs showing up from that storyline, but they always change the comics just a little bit to fit with the characters that they're doing on the TV show. So speaking of which, changes to Ghost Rider backstory. So if you read Robbie Reyes' run as Ghost Rider in the comics, he's like the most recent version of the character in the comics. The thing that they changed is that in the comics, his uncle is the spirit of vengeance that he bonds with. He doesn't sell his soul to Mephisto like the other versions of Ghost Rider, and his uncle, who's like this really crazy murderer, tries to take over his consciousness so that he can just murder as much as he wants. He's just a terrible person. But what they've done on the TV show so far, like, this could be a misdirect, but it seems like they're telling us that his uncle is a good person, like he's the only person from his school that got a PhD. He clawed his way out of the gutter, so to speak. So they're trying to make his uncle seem really sympathetic. Maybe that's because they don't want him to be a super duper stereotype or something like that. But either way, it's a change from the comics, meaning that what they might have done, like Ghost Rider keeps saying that he sold his soul to the devil, maybe he actually did sell his soul to Mephisto. So just keep in mind that they changed some of Robbie Reyes' comic book backstory. But let me know in the comments, what was your favorite part of the episode? Like, what do you think about the life model decoy storyline? I feel like that's kind of in a holding pattern right now, like they're still testing Ada out. She needs to pass the Coulson test. It seems like she is, but it is kind of funny that Simmons figured it out immediately. Like she knew instantly that Ada was artificial intelligence. So that means that other people will also probably figure it out pretty quickly. But as you can see, Daisy and Ghost Rider are now formally on the S.H.I.E.L.D. team. You might not need us, but we need you. So you're basically like the family, the band is back together, so to speak. But it was a great episode, and I like the way they're making like a hard left turn into Doctor Strange territory. Like you kind of expect the way they talk about this book, the power that it has, how dangerous it is. You just expect Doctor Strange to show up and just take the book and say, I'm keeping this, and just teleport back to the Sanctum with it. Here's the problem with that though, Doctor Strange is coming out at the beginning of November. The mid-season finale for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't going to be till December, meaning that if Doctor Strange eventually does take possession of the book, that it probably won't be till much, much later. But really big Marvel stuff this week. So Guardians trailer dropped this morning. Obviously, I just posted that video. I'll probably do a follow-up Guardians video later this week. There's a Deadpool video that I want to make, and there's an Arrow SummerSlam episode happening tonight. Basically like a hardcore wrestling match between Stephen Amell and Cody Rhodes. So that video will probably post early tomorrow. So just be sure to subscribe to get everything. Whole bunch of Marvel DC stuff happening this week. So just changing the outro a little bit. While you guys wait for that next video to post, you can click up top for that Guardians of the Galaxy trailer, and you can click down here for all my Doctor Strange videos. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.